What is up, guys? Hurricane Liz here, back for another video on OnlyFans because a lot of people are asking for it. So today I'm going to cover these 5 things, and I'm going to throw in a bonus too, that you absolutely must have if you're going to want to start an OnlyFans agency. A lot of people usually overcomplicate this shit and they make it a lot harder than what it is. But I'm going to tell you the 5 absolute things you must have. The other 2 are kind of intangible things, but I'm still going to get into those and why, in order to be successful, you've got to have these 5 things. So I'm super fired up to show you this. Hope you're fired up. Let's do this. All right, here we are. So I'm just to show you guys, I practice what I preach. So some of the tips and tricks that I do give to you, I'm practicing them out there in the streets. And what I mean by that is when I go recruit girls, I recruit hard. None other than Tootsie's. I was at Tootsie's, yeah, it got cold, I needed this jacket, so yeah, I bought it. But either way, let's talk about these 5 things, and I'll throw in some bonus things. I got some notes here on my phone, but what do you need to get started with your very own OnlyFans agency? I do want to remind you, if you want help with all that, my email is below in the description box. Reach out to me, we could jump on the phone and talk about what your goals are, where you're at, and where you want to be. But let's go ahead and start with the absolute 5 first things, and I'll throw in 2 bonus that you have to have. Number 1, you clearly cannot get started doing OnlyFans without a model. So you got a couple choices here. You can either pimp yourself out, and I know plenty of people out there that are pimping themselves out, doing a tremendous job of it, and at some point they grow so large that they're gonna need somebody to manage their shit. That could be you. That's why this in and of itself is a very special set of skills that you've got to learn in order to help people really launch themselves to a whole nother dimension. And that's like being under the 1% creator in OnlyFans. That's huge. We just signed a model that's at like 0.289% in the top OnlyFans creators, and she's at about $35,000 a month. So that sort of gives you an idea of how much money these girls are making. That's like $360,000 a year she's bringing in. And she did all this herself from some very basic things. One of those things is on this countdown, so I will remind you once we get there, but you absolutely need a model. Now, there's various different ways that you can get these models. I've talked about that in other videos. The very first bit of experience that I had getting models was going to the strip clubs. And yeah, like I've got this jacket on. I've got a collection of caps you cannot even imagine. Going to these clubs and meeting and talking with girls and just passing it around word of mouth. And now I pretty much can get into any club I want at will as a VIP, and I get a lot of calls from people that work in there showing me and connecting me with these girls who want somebody to manage their stuff. Because like I said, them having an agency is a hell of a lot easier than them having to manage that all by themselves. It becomes a little too overwhelming. There is a lot of technical marketing knowledge that is required, and to be quite honest, somebody like me already has all those skills built. You very well can do the same thing. You're watching this video, you're smart enough to know where to go out there to get this information. I've just been in this industry for such a long time, meaning the marketing industry, that to me, it's all the same shit, people. It's just driving traffic to a product. In this case, that product is a person, which I know sounds kind of creepy as shit, but hey, it is what it is. So you need a model. You're going to need to find one. There's a lot of different methods. I have a video on it. I'll continue to make more videos on how I find new models and give you guys tips and tricks. The second thing that you're going to need this isn't like an absolute certain thing, but I still just threw it in there because a lot of people always overcomplicate shit. They're like, Liz, how am I going to sign this model if I don't have a contract? Yeah, you're going to need some sort of contract. Now, it doesn't have to be legally binding, because I'll be honest with you, if girls want out of the contract, they want out. They'll just leave. They'll ghost you in some cases. So you do want to have some advanced methods in play to make sure that your bank account, your OnlyFans payouts get split, so there's ways around that. That way you don't get screwed by these models. And a lot of them are just young and stupid, so they're not going to know how to properly do this, and they'll eventually just get out of the contract. Now, the contract, as I said before, it's not really legally binding. I've had girls that we just let out immediately. A lot of people ask for them to give them a year-long commitment, but even then, some of these girls just aren't going to do that. So I just use it from a perspective of showing them that I'm professional enough to have this in place, and that I expect them to do what they say they're going to do, as I expect to do for them what I told them I was going to do. That's more or less why it's in place, just to seem and to convey that higher level of professionalism than, say, your competition. Now, I've known a lot of girls that I've recruited that tell me, oh yeah, we weren't even on a contract, we were just going week by week, and you know, whatever happened. So there are a lot of agencies out there that don't have one. And as I said before, most people are afraid to even do this because they think, how can I convince a model to work with me if I have zero experience? Some of these girls are so young and dumb that you don't even need to really convince them. They're all about just laying off of having to do all that work, because it does become a shit ton of work at the end of the day. That's why it's important to develop systems and build teams in order to help these models achieve much higher numbers. So that's number 2 thing that you'll need. Number 3 thing, and this is the important thing, this is what got our model that I showed in our last video from 3K all the way up to 32K. It's basic knowledge of TikTok and Instagram. So you got to know some of this, and most of you guys that are young enough to have really not been alive without Instagram being a part of your life, like most of you were 10 years old when that shit took off. I had to rely on other means of social media before Instagram. Like YouTube was huge when I was coming up. That's why I've had several successful YouTube channels. But right now, knowing Instagram, it should be a given. Like all of us have Instagram, but some people won't. So Instagram, TikTok is vitally important. I would say if you had to put all your eggs in one basket, I would 100% go with TikTok and learning everything I could about TikTok. So I will give you a couple of advanced tactics with TikTok in a minute. But you've got to have basic knowledge, and possibly the most important aspect of knowing how to do TikTok, other than being just able to upload TikToks on somebody's account, is knowing what TikToks are or have gone viral. So we've got one dude on staff that does nothing but this. His sole job is to go out there and collect TikToks that are viral or either have viral-like qualities, and then we distribute these to each of our girls every single day, so they have an idea of what type of content to create, and they get it over to us so that we can upload it, and the odds become a lot higher than a girl just making shit up in her head. So that's the terrific thing about knowing what pieces of TikToks have gone viral. That way you can hand it over to your girls, they duplicate it, and then the odds of them going viral are a lot higher. So this is terrific. This is how we usually do things, and this is how our girl jumped from 3K to 32K just from getting one single viral video, all through TikTok. It wasn't Instagram, it wasn't on OnlyFans that she went viral, it was just on TikTok. She got a massive amount of subscribers. So that's number 3. Number 4 is, and this is going to get a little bit more into the technical aspects of things, you'll want to have multiple phones and SIM cards as soon as you get a model that is a workhorse, which means she's willing to put the content in, she's willing to put the time in to create the content, I should say, and she proves herself to be legit. You want to make sure she has multiple phones so you can have multiple simultaneous TikToks going, especially those lives going, especially if she's a workhorse and she starts to hammer those things out daily. And you'll want to have multiple SIM cards. Our usual phone of choice is iPhone 8 on up. However, I imagine that in the next year, the iPhone 8 will be phased out. So we sometimes will just go with iPhone 10s, even though they cost a lot more. And SIM cards, you can get any type of SIM card. We usually use Leica Mobile right now, but that could change at any point in time. So we want to make sure that those things are in place. So the 5th thing that you absolutely must have in order to make this work is either a mentor or a good community, because you're going to have a lot of questions and you're not going to be able to ask anybody this, because this is all taboo. A lot of people frown upon me for having just completely revamped this YouTube channel to kind of show you guys my whole path at going about this. And I usually show this of any business that I'm in, and I will dump businesses if they're not making a lot of money. So this for me just made sense because it was doing a lot better than the old businesses. But a lot of people have chastised me and fucking are disappointed with me, but I don't really give a crap. I'm having fun with this. I'm enjoying it, and it's making money. And at the end of the day, nobody feeds my family other than me. So I'll do whatever the hell I want when I want. And I suggest you all do the same thing. So with that being said, community mentor is necessary. I will be launching my brand new Discord by next week, so I'll have a link to that below. If that's launched in, you guys are welcome to hop in and ask your questions there. We do have pretty solid mentors that will be involved in that, so you definitely want to jump in there. Now, the 2 last final things that I have that are immeasurable. You really can't measure these, or these aren't tangible things that you've got to have. Can't carry this shit around in your pocket. The first is the desire to learn. And this is where the community comes into place. You're trying to absorb everything you can like a mother effing sponge, like you're SpongeBob. You're trying to absorb every single piece of knowledge that you can. Namely, more importantly, is taking that knowledge and taking action and putting action to play. Like that's with TikTok, with Instagram, with going out there recruiting girls and not worrying or not having the fear of being rejected by these girls just because you don't have experience. Like there's ways that you can overcome this. And as I said before, most people are so afraid to try and go out there and get a girl that they don't realize that most of them aren't even going to question you on your experience. Like they don't even give a crap. They have no idea how to do this themselves. They're more than happy to offload this work to someone like you, as long as you sell them on this idea that you are partners and you're a team and you're gonna do your share, she's gonna do her share, and you're gonna split the revenues 50-50. So the desire to learn is very important. And the last thing that you have to have, this completely intangible, but most people will never get this, is the willingness to go out there and fail. Like there will be some times where you recruit a model and shit just doesn't work out and you got to break up with her and be done with her. That's fine. There will be times when you try a promo and it doesn't work out. There'll be times when you're disappointed because you get a model cranked up and then she quits on you. And there'll be times when you don't get a model and you don't sign one that you wanted to sign and you were so sure you were going to sign. Doesn't matter. There will also be times when you've left with 0 models. But guess what? You still have. That is the skill that it took you to at least build those models. So look at your analytics, make sure you set benchmarks and you see where you started from and where you got to and everything that it took you to get there, because when you get that one big shot with one model that's going to stick with you and be loyal and be that workhorse, you can blow her up to the moon and back, just like we did from 3 to 30 some K, and that was in the last video. But other than that, those are the 7 things that you absolutely must have in order to start this OnlyFans agency. I want to remind you, my email is below in case you do want to schedule a call to find out how you can level up your game. And also the Discord link should be below too in case you do want to join that community. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.